could carry that kind of weight. It was my turn till I met you. I was breathing but not alive. All my failures I tried to hide. It was my turn till I met you. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. And freedom is all that I know. The old made new. Jesus, when I met you, you called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. Now your mercy has saved my soul. And freedom is all that I know. The old made new. Jesus, when I met you, you called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. I needed rescue, my sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan, now you call me a citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing, now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you call my name, I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day. You called my name and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness into your glorious day.
Good morning. Whoa, look at that. I got it all messed up here, don't I? Good morning, everybody. I may have messed my start up this morning. I started one, and then I waited too long to go live, and then when I did go live, it went to a different intro, which I thought was kind of weird. It must be programmed in there that I didn't know. How's everybody doing this morning? It's been a beautiful start to the day. It's just starting to get daylight. God, I hate winter. Anyway, yeah, last night was good. We had a good men's group, small group, but it was nice. We get to talk about some of our lives and talk about Sunday's message. It never ceases to amaze me how people can sit around a room and listen to the same message and get different things from it. God's talking to all of us at the same time, and we don't even realize it. So, looks like Chuck B decided to stop by this morning. Good morning, Chuck B. Very first one on. And Chris Conley. Good morning, Chris. Ken Gooch is here. Good morning, fellow brothers in arms. And good morning, gentlemen, comes from Bert Reggiani and John Carson. That's a face that we haven't seen much of in recent times. And sure is nice to see you back. Today's scripture is from Psalm 124. It seems like there's this never-ending parade of these little short prayer psalms that sometimes can be a challenge to do devotions from. And then sometimes they just seem to go real easy. And today is as short as it was. It's kind of cool because David is looking back. He's looking backwards at what had happened, and he knew in his heart, and he knew deep in his soul that God was with him, and there was no doubt in this particular chapter. He blasts it right out there. I mean, that's what his belief is here. So if I could turn, I'll bring that back up now. All right. Our help is in the name of the Lord. A song, a sense of David. It is not, if it had not been for the Lord who is on our side, let Israel now say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side when people rose up against us, then they would have swallowed us up alive, and their anger was kindled against us. He's basically giving God credit for everything. He knew that he's pointing out who was looking out for them. He's pointing out that God was protecting them and blessing them. He gave proper credit, I would say would be a good way of saying it. He knew that God, without God, the rest of these verses would have turned out differently. Like in 3, when they say, then they would have swallowed us up alive, and when their anger was kindled against us, and the flood would have swept us away, the torrent would have gone over us, and then over us would have gone raging waters. So he's painting a picture, basically, of this overwhelming force. We know that Scripture tells us that the Israelites were outnumbered in many instances, and the country seemed larger and bigger and stronger. And David was telling the people that without God being there, this would not have turned out the way it turned out. These countries would have been over us like a giant tsunami that just wiped us out and would leave no trace of us. You think about a leader or a general or a king of a country giving all credit to God like this. He's basically saying, it's not us. It's never been us. It's never will be us. We're just blessed. But let's continue. Blessed be the Lord who has given us as prey to their teeth. He has escaped like a bird. We have escaped like a bird from the snare of the fowlers. the snare is broken, and we have escaped. He's comparing the nation of Israel to like an animal that's being hunted, and his enemies are like, like beasts or that would eat them, or trappers. It's very David's got a great writing style, and then he ends the chapter with our name. Our help is the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. Okay. So David knows who made what happen, right? David understands. He understands that these countries were monstrous, and they were big, and they were strong, and they were fierce. There's no way they should have won. But the God of the universe reached down and he put his thumb on the scale. It'd be a good way of putting it. He reached down and said, I'm going to give you a little help. Because of his providence, because of his blessing, Israel's able to defeat these much larger, much more powerful armies. Not all of them were larger, obviously, but there was, in many instances, they were no match. So what does that mean for us today? We read this story, and we go, okay, great story, great prayer. Israel was able to conquer the promised land relatively, not easily, I would say, but without as much harm as they probably should have had. What does that mean for us today? What does that mean for John Carson in Lake Orion? What does that mean for Bert Reggiani or Ken Gooch? It's always, Scripture is alive. If Scripture is alive, that we claim it is alive, then it should apply to every day. It should apply to tomorrow. It should apply to today. What we learned from this is that God's presence changes everything. With God on our side, the impossible sometimes happens. We forget that God's on our side if we're doing right? But sometimes we're not, and so then we think, well, maybe God's not on our side. Enemies and trials, temptation, fear, sin are the snares that we face. The failings that we can do. These things have teeth. To think that the sins that we commit today are any less dangerous than they were 2,000 years ago is silly. To think that the temptations that we face today are less damaging than they were during the time of David is wrong. Yeah, there's no doubt. And then it also tells us that dependence is where we should be, not self-reliance. How many times do men, especially men, we're the worst. We push away, right? We take our issues and we compartmentalize them and we keep them away from the rest of the world, and we say, I'll handle this. I got it. Because that's how we were raised, right? We take care of our own. We take care of, we're the hunter-gatherers in the family. From the beginning, men took care of all the fighting, and they took care of all the hunting, and the women took care of the children. And it worked. It worked. It also created a picture of the Genesis, right? At the beginning, when the woman was created out of man. But the thing is, in our nature, men have a tendency to be independent. It's just who we are. And we have to fight that. We have to be more dependent on the guy that created everything in the first place. Our strength is never going to be enough. So we can take a thing from these verses is understand when we're blessed from God. Understand that we're going to be tempted. We're going to be afraid. We're going to be attacked. But It's all on who we rely, and where our providence and our benefits come from. We know who is in charge. We know who is doing what's supposed to be done. That is the key to today's scripture. I hope it was a blessing to you. I don't see anybody else came on, so I'm going to sneak out here before the girls start and they get in trouble. All right? Have a firmly rooted day, gentlemen. And may someone see Jesus in you today. Peace.